The Philadelphia Eagles are looking to get right on a short week against the Giants. However, unfortunately, they just got a huge update ahead of this game that could affect their strategy. Also, is this the game where Saquon Barkley finally gets going and erupts against his former team? We'll talk about all of that as well as a few keys for the Eagles to get it done on Thursday night. All that and more coming up here on A to Z Philly, but welcome into the show. I'm RB. And we're back at it, man. I mean, talk about a perfect time for a Thursday night game. Obviously, a lot of torture here in Philly sports this weekend with the Phillies as well. But look, man, you had a loss. You had a reality check. You got punched. And now it's time to come out here and, stop worrying about, hey, let's just get lucky. Let's just flow through the game and hope we get the dub. No, let's correct things. Let's do things now early in the season so that we can get on the right path by the time the playoffs come and go win another trophy. Now, in terms of this Eagles and Giants matchup on Thursday night, we'll talk about what they need to do and all that, but things could change. Things could change in terms of strategy. As Jeff McLean here says, Landon Dickerson could miss the next 1 to 2 weeks with his ankle injury. Grant Calcaterra also has an oblique injury and is unlikely to be ready in 2 days. This is one of those weird weeks where it's like your body doesn't even have time to recover, right? After the last game, they said they were doing treatment in the locker room, getting ready for Thursday night. I'm not a big fan of playing on 4 days, but nonetheless, it is what it is. And I'll be completely honest, if the Eagles can get more life from whoever they bring in, whether it's Matt Pryor or, Brett Toth again, and those guys look formidable, then honestly, I think we consider resting Landon Dickerson until the bye week in 3-4 weeks, because Landon is that dude. And so far this season, he and some others on that O-line have not been those guys. And you can see that the wear and tear is there. Jordan Mailata talked about all of the reps last year, which has really tired them out early in this season. And I think health in the long term is the most important thing. Also, Saquon Barkley had a knee injury, did not practice yesterday, but it seems like that was just for rest. He was a little bit sore, but he should be good to go on Thursday night. Now, on the flip side, the Giants have some guys not practicing. The most notable is Darius Slayton. And this is huge because he has a hamstring injury. Doesn't look like he's going to play as of right now. They said he didn't practice again today either. Then you have Malik Neighbors, who's out for the season. Other than that, who do they have? Wan'Dale Robinson? That's it. The Giants are in trouble offensively. They do not have a lot of weapons, and we will talk about that. Also, Vic Fangio says that Nakobe Dean could be active this week, but he says that since he did not play in training camp, he has to get up to speed and will not have a full-time role. So that pretty much answers all the questions about Jahad Campbell and Nakobe Dean. And in terms of the cornerback 2 position, Vic Fangio did not say it outright, but pretty much sounded like Kelee Ringo will start again versus the Giants. And I think that is the right decision. I want to talk about the offensive side of the ball because it was pretty funny listening to what everybody had to say, right? About the Eagles. Oh, well, they didn't pass the ball that well. Why, man? Why did they get away from the run game? They could have ran out the clock, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. That's what we've been saying for the last 2 weeks. That's what we said all day on Sunday. We've been trying to tell you the Philadelphia Eagles play a certain style of football. It may not look appealing. It may be boring, but nonetheless, it is efficient. The Eagles are going to do what it takes to win football games. They've done that for the last year and a half. And the fact that they have been winning games, that they're putting W's in the dub column, that they won a trophy and are trying to do it again, should be all that matters. So Jimmy Kempski says Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, and Saquon Barkley had a good, long, positive conversation, lasted a couple hours. I'm glad. And first off, I'm looking at Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown. I don't know if you need to get these guys in the same room and lock them in there and give them a 6-pack or let them play video games or do something. These guys need to be on the same page. Off the field for the last couple of years, they've been great friends. They're brothers. And then there's been a few incidents, on the sideline that people blow out of proportion. Okay, maybe they're not seeing eye to eye, but it just feels like something is kind of not clicking right now. I went back and watched that deep ball to AJ in the third quarter that essentially would have sealed the Broncos game. And I watched it 15 times and just some miscommunication. AJ has to keep running that route. That would have been game over. But nonetheless, Jalen and AJ have to be clicking because they're too talented to let anything else get in their way. They are one of the best duos, combos, whatever you want to call it, in the entire league. So this weekend, I would expect them to go out and hopefully not listen to all the noise, right? Get back to playing the efficient style of football that wins every freaking game. And if you run the ball 40 times, who cares, right? I don't want to hear any whining about touches or how many times I'm getting the ball or how I can be better if you give me the ball. I don't want to hear that. They only ran the ball 11 times this past week because they let all the noise infiltrate inside that locker room. Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown will get on the same note, and when they do, it is going to be dangerous for the rest of the NFL. I also think that they need to be better early in downs, especially on first down. ESP says the Eagles had 21 real first downs on Sunday. On those plays, 10 resulted in either 0 or negative yards. Only 5 of the plays were over 5 yards. So you have to be put in better situations. You can't be on 3rd and long every single possession, every single drive, right? You're playing from behind. You're playing way behind the sticks. Cannot do that. And part of that is also Saquon Barkley getting back in the mix as well. So let's talk about this matchup. I mean, look, it is very simple. You're playing on a short week. You're going up against a miserable football team, a awful organization, a team that stinks. Sure, they got a little bit of life with Jackson Dart, and they have some good players on their defensive line. But other than that, this team is atrocious. I don't want to see the Eagles go out here and beat them by 1 point. I want to see them blow the doors off the New York Giants. And the biggest matchup of this game for me is the Eagles O-line, which again is struggling health-wise and has not been consistent this year, against the Giants D-line, which you could argue is the best component of their team. Dexter Lawrence, Kayvon Thibodeau, and Brian Burns, who are leading the Giants in sacks, are going to throw a lot of different combinations to try to get to Jalen Hurts and mess him up. But on the flip side, here is the positive. The New York Giants are giving up 106 yards per game on the ground to running backs. That means Saquon Barkley is finally about to feast. And in the air, they are giving up 184 yards per game to wide receivers, which is the second most in the NFL. Combine all that with the fact that the Giants are giving up 377 yards per game on the defensive side. They're one of the worst defenses in the NFL. The Eagles should be able to get right as long as their line is holding up for Jalen Hurts and he's making good decisions with the football. The Giants as a team overall are giving up 140 rushing yards per game. They have been one of the worst in the NFL, and Saquon Barkley, who went there last year and had 176 yards and a touchdown against his former team, should finally be able to break open the floodgates. I know the O-line's been banged up, but really that's the big matchup of this game. Control time of possession, get back to running the football fluidly and consistently. Lastly, you look at the Giants on the other side. Cam Scatterboo has been okay the last couple weeks, right? It's been better than anything else the Giants have had on offense. They don't even know how to call plays. Everything is so vanilla, almost like the Eagles in a way, except the Giants have been doing it for a very, very long time. And Jackson Dart comes in. They had, I think, an 11-point lead on the Saints last week, and then they choked that, gave up like 21 unanswered points. And they gave Kellen Moore and Spencer Rattler their first wins in the NFL as a head coach and quarterback. I mean, it's just hilarious. Brian Daboll is literally on life support as the Giants head coach, and soon they are going to have to make a move. And guess what? 2 out of the next 3 weeks, the Eagles should be able to demolish this football team, especially with Neighbors down. The Giants just have nothing left at all. And if you look at their defense, one of their corners, Andrew Phillips, has 2 interceptions, 8 pass deflections. He's been a great nickel corner for them this season. But outside of that and the defensive line, Eagles have more than enough to torture this football team. So at the end of the day, this again feels like the perfect opportunity for the Eagles to go out and demolish a football team that is asking to be put away. And guess what? Saquon Barkley is going to go there and obliterate his former team and do it to them again. And this is the matchup where he finally breaks everything open this season. With the Giants giving up 106 rushing yards per game to running backs, they will have no answer. And going up against a weak secondary, AJ Brown is finally going to have his moment and get on the same page as Jalen Hurts. Giants giving up the second most receiving yards to wide receivers is an absolute nightmare for them. So I want to see Kevin Patullo finally fire on all cylinders. I don't want to see a 20-19 win or a 14-10 win. I want to see 37-9. I want to see 34-14. And at the end of the day, that is exactly what I think is going to happen. Eagles get the win in MetLife, 34-17. Giants get a late score in garbage time, but the Eagles dominate start to finish, and they get right, and they finally get where they need to go. Give me all your thoughts down below. How do you feel about this game? What is the pulse? What's the vibe right now? Give me your predictions and all that down below. Appreciate everybody for tapping in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I will catch you on the next one.